So I won't be on here long, but I do want to talk about some security things that are happening and the way that transparency is being manipulated in a way that takes away attention from um, just how secretive this administration is. So I just want to focus on what we shouldn't know, but for some reason we do know, and the stuff we need to know, we don't know. So that is what So specifically, we shouldn't know about or if this reporting bears up that the Trump demolishing the people's house, not his house, the people's house. Let's be very clear about that. That it's also to expand the bunker. I've been in the White House. I couldn't tell you exactly where those areas in the house are, but that should not be that shouldn't be a public conversation. That should be a national security secret. Just FYI. People should not know. Um, there should not be public knowledge as to where the president is held during emergencies. It just should not be a discussion. It shouldn't be a rumor. It just shouldn't be, right? Um, However, when they mess up, then they tote out this kind of transparency messaging. And another example is with the fact that we know that the CIA is in Venezuela. We are not supposed to know that, just FYI. But again, they go with the messaging of transparency. But you know what we should know is why people are getting blown up in the South Caribbean. We really should know that information. Congress should really have that information, right? They should have evidence. They should be coming out and saying to us to reassure the public that there is credible evidence of a threat. I know in the last administration, there was transparency about credible evidence of a threat of Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. It happened. There was credible evidence that Russia was trying to nuclearize a ASAT in space. There is a way to tell Americans and the world about credible threats. Just taking action and then telling us afterward that there was a good reason for it, that is a problem. We are in a very serious security crisis. There's the legal crisis, the constitutional crisis. We are in a security crisis. We knew from the last administration that they do not believe in transparency. You know, we don't know who comes to the White House. We don't know who these meetings are with. We don't know what's being talked about on these phone calls. It's just a blanket of secrecy. And I am telling you, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous territory for a sitting president to act on behalf of the United States without letting people know exactly what those actions are going to be or even why they're being taken. This is more evidence of Trump acting king-like, authoritarian-like, dictatorial. There's too much evidence. The fact that this man is bulldozing the East Wing as if it's his home. So that gives me more evidence that this man does not planning on coming out of the people's house. Just as we, await, the Supreme Court and the Voting Rights Act, specifically Section 2, they've already given him immunity, right? So are they also going to give Republicans immunity when it comes to voting fairly in this country? That is a security matter. Voting rights are a security matter. So we are in a security crisis. I just named a few. I wish I could come here and offer solutions. Someone asked me the other day, like, what's a way out of this? And what this administration has set up for itself. They flout, they ignore laws, they laugh at norms, which is most of the infrastructure, which is most of like the paper infrastructure of our entire democratic system, including the international system. Um, as a political scientist, I've said this for years, even before we got here in the first Trump administration, that all of this, unfortunately, looks like it's leading up to violence. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that, but I kind of feel like folks on the right, this is something that they've been wanting, something that they've been, pushing towards. Nobody wants that. No one wants that. People just want the American dream. People just want the thing that was promised to all Americans. That's it. Why should we have to wake up wondering and thinking and worrying about if it's going to be a kinetic war, a kinetic civil war in our country? That is crazy in 2025. But as crazy as it is, as unsettling as it is, here we are. Here we are. Um, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see our country where it is right now. As a Black woman, it genuinely feels like this administration is intentionally targeting us. Do you know what that feels like? Targeting us through policy, targeting us to where we can't work, targeting us to, where that snowballs to us not being able to feed ourselves. Essentially, what is the end goal here? To completely what? Just kill us off systemically? We're being pushed out of the workforce and we're not being welcomed into other sectors. What does that sound like to you? Professional genocide? Because it snowballs. You can't get a job, can't feed yourself, you can't feed your family. What's the end goal here? Is he like strategically trying to wipe out the 92%? It kind of feels like it. Security crisis. We are in a security crisis, from workforce, personnel shortages, the shutdown, the poor governance, the constant leaking, the carelessness with national security information. I am not sugarcoating it. We are in a dark place. We are in a dangerous place. And don't you think for one second that our adversaries are not watching closely, if they are not just sitting back waiting for us to fully implode, because that's a strategy too, right? Or they're sitting back and waiting for us to get to our most weakest point, our most vulnerable point. And then, because we don't, you know, we have partners and allies around the world, but are they our friends? You know what I mean? Like, you know how many countries have been sitting back and just waiting for the United States to collapse? Like, honey, sipping tea, waiting, just like, okay, it's going to happen any moment now. And you want to know why? Racism. All the isms. Our adversaries know us better than we do. They know the pressure points. They know how to tug on those pressure points. They know racism is a pressure point. Sexism is a pressure point. And here we are. Ta-da! Racism, sexism has gotten us to where we are. America. Are you proud of yourself, girl? All right, I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to make sure that I offered a few words on this transparency manipulation. If I can, I will. I'm gonna see how this works with doing security briefs lives just for paid subscribers. I'm trying to figure out how to offer you all different content for folks that pay. Security brief. This means a great deal to me, but I want more people to be able to get the information, because this is where I kind of talk about security from a different perspective that you're not going to hear about and, mainstream media, or even people reporting on security. They will report on another ship being blown up, but offer no analysis. They will report on, this very, 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 very lukewarm ceasefire, but no real analysis. So Security Brief is a place where I'm looking at the news landscape, and these are the questions that I'm asking from the things that I'm seeing, right? Why is no one talking about the security crisis? Constitutional crisis? Yes. And security and law typically go together, which is why I co taught a policy, law, and politics class for years, because these things typically go together. But the security crisis is real. And I just came here to say that. I'm going to write an article about it tomorrow and kind of like define the security crisis that I'm naming here today. But this is where we are. And I will see folks on the next security brief, and look out for an article from me tomorrow. All right, y'all, I got to go get ready to pre record. I'm co-hosting Reese Colbert show this weekend, and we're pre-recording today. So I got to go finish putting my face on, y'all. But I just wanted to stop by and say, hey, I know it's been a while, but I was moving, had a death in my family. It's been a lot going on, but I haven't forgotten about you, and I'm going to bring more content to my paid subscribers because I'm so grateful. All right, y'all. Talk to you later.